Hello there, guys, and welcome back to, once again, another live stream here on the Divine Eye Racing YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be having the season ender here in Season 3 in Division 2. We're going to be racing in Brazil, as Brazil, one of my most favorite tracks to have a race on, commentary-wise, race-wise, whatever you can imagine. It's just such a smoothing track. It's just a really smoothing track, good racing overall, and hopefully we're going to be seeing that here in Divine Eye Racing tonight. We're going to be in round 12 of Season 3, as I mentioned before, but we have got a couple of big names out of the lobby today, including Ziad, the championship leader. I think he has already secured the Drivers' Championship, so it won't be too much of a problem for the Egyptian driver. But there's still a heavy battle going on for that top 3 position. I'm just going to grab the Drivers' Championship with you guys. So we have got Ziad in P1, Olawa Richie in P2, and we've got Jay Dennis in P3. Super Sean is pretty close behind Jay Dennis, so that's going to be a very heavy battle for a P3 in the Drivers' Championship. Apart from that, we are looking at Kev the Slice having 137 points, the Bartover and Expedito, also redoubts all around that 105 point mark. So that's going to be a very interesting battle between those guys as well. Let me just double check with the Constructors' Championship, as apparently that is glitched. Mercedes has 411 points, Ferrari 345, and we've got the Racing Bulls with 287. So it's still a heavy battle between the Racing Bulls and the Sauber, as Sauber has 3 points behind the Racing Bulls. So that's going to be a very interesting battle as well. So we've got a one-shot qualifying first, because we're also going to be having a sprint race tonight. And I think that is a very good choice from the guys in the admin team, because racing around Brazil is more fun when you have a sprint race rather than a qualifying, do we not? So Expedito is the one we're currently on board with, the Williams driver currently in that top 7 of the Drivers' Championship, as he's coming into Sector 2 pretty fast. You've got turn 6 and 7 straight ahead, and then we've got turn 8 coming right up into your right, touching the curb as much as possible. Into turn 9, a very slow corner. Doesn't seem to be taking any curb down the inside. I would suggest the guys to do that, but apparently Expedito thought otherwise. Into turn 8, into turn 10, my apologies. Into turn 11, 12, get that very long left-hander. And then you've got that fast left-hander being turn 12. Turn 13 and 14 coming right up, and then you've got that DRS straight here in Brazil, and that will be a lap around Brazil. Expedito is looking to grab a P10. Let's see how many positions he's going to win or lose down the straight. Seems like he's going to gain about 1 position down the straight, so it will be a 1.9.3 for Expedito. But the pole time goes to Olawa Richie, who's currently P2 in the Drivers' Championship. I kind of expected him to be in P1 here in the race, with Ziad not being there, unfortunately, but a good qualifying from the guys overall. There's one driver who has a qualifying ban, being Ishi. And let me just double check if he indeed qualified from last. And yes, indeed he did. He didn't put a qualifying time. Firefly and Redoubts both got a disqualification, meaning they crossed track limits. Apart from that, we have got Jay Dennis, Kaka, Netwani, and Kev the Slice in the top 5. And third, we've got Waza, Mini Turns, Super Sean, Expedito, DJ Lawson, Queasy, Brass Monkeys, Blue Dark, Mohammed, Big Turns, Ishi, Firefly, and then, of course, Redives at the back of the grid. Apparently, we have got, let me just double check, 18 drivers in the lobby tonight, so that is great by Divine Eye Racing to get that many people in that lobby. In the last race, of course, there's only 43,000 in between Olawa Richie and Jay Dennis, so that's also a very heavy battle between the both of them, and we're going to be seeing that also during the race. Both drivers have been battling with each other for the whole race, I mean for the whole season, and it's just going to be a splendid race. Just going to double check with the quality of the microphone to see if everything is okay. Seems like it is. By the way, guys, I just got back from the United States, and there's a lot of airco everywhere, so I'm kind of sick, and I got a little cough. So my apologies if you're sometimes going to hear a cough. It is what it is. I can't tell my throat to not cough, so yeah, that's going to be that. Everyone now currently putting up their setups. Make sure you're not readying up yet, because the admins will get very angry at you for readying up when not being told to. mainly because the drivers need to get enough time to put on the right setups, put on the right strategy, especially during a sprint qualifying. It's going to be a little strategical play from the guys. Do we go for softs? Do we go for mediums? Or do we go for hards? Any of those strategies work. I would say go with the medium tires. They last not very long, but they also don't wear out very fast. So you've got the hard tires who wear out the least, but of course they're a little bit slower. You've got the soft tires who wear out the most, but they're the fastest overall. You've got the mediums being in the middle of both of them. So I would say mediums. I think it's going to be 12 laps of sprint race, so that will be good enough for mediums, maybe soft tires. I do think we're going to be seeing a couple of guys on the soft tires here tonight. Let me just double check with the lap data, of course, and then we are going to look at the tires. So a couple of guys on the medium tires, a couple of guys on the soft tires, nobody on the hard tires as I expected. The top 6 has gone for medium tires. And we've got Mini Turns, Super Sean and Expedito on the soft tires, DJ Lawson and Queasy on the medium tires. Then all the way from P12 to P17 we have got soft tire runners. All the way at the back of the grid we have got Redites on the medium tires. He is hopefully going to be able to gain a couple of positions at the end of the race. I don't think he's going to be able to get any positions at the start of that race because those medium tires are slower off the line than the soft tires, of course, because they're a little bit faster and they have more grip on the tires. So we're going to be seeing a lot of position changes in the middle of the field, especially those two medium tire runners in P10 and P11. You're going to drop a couple of positions, maybe to P13, 14, if we can see Blue Dark and Brass Monkeys overtake those two. And then we're also going to see Mini Turns, Super Sean and Expedito hopefully bring in the advantage of the soft tires at the beginning of the race and possibly make a couple of overtakes into that first corner section, turn 1, 2, and 3. Hopefully they're going to be able to get into the top 5 with that strategy. But apart from that, we have got a lot of medium tire runners at the front of the pack, and hopefully they're going to be able to stretch those mediums till the end of the race. That is usually going to be the case. Maybe if you have some damage, that's not going to be the case, because then you got to come into the pits, put on some new rubber and also a new front wing, rear wing, whatever you want to call it. Laura Ritchie is going to be the first one on the grid. Usually he's one of the faster guys on the grid, and he's also coming in very fast. This time around, he's not going to get disqualified. And neither are most of the guys here usually in Divine Eye Racing. Make sure you're not ending up in somebody's rear, because that's going to get you disqualified. And your tires are going to be very, very cold when you get disqualified. So make sure to not do that. As everyone puts themselves on the grid, we're going to switch over to the position changes. And then we're good to go here in Divine Eye Racing, the last sprint race of the season. And apparently we have got 5 red lights here in the Brazil sprint race. And off we go. A pretty decent start there from Jay Dennis, already coming off the line. It seems like he's trying to go down the inside, and yes, it did. Oh, and we've got a McLaren car in the wall as Kaka's tried to go around the outside of Natwani. Jay Dennis now keeping the position from Olaru Ritchie. A very heavy battle between the both of them already, as Olaru Ritchie is trying to stick it around the outside. There is not much room around the outside as Jay Dennis takes the lead of the race. Both the Kick Sauber drivers currently in a heated battle with Expedito. Expedito on the rear of the both of them, as I think Kev the Slice is just going to let his teammate go through, as he's got the medium tires on. His teammate got the soft tires. Expedito getting pushed wide a little bit there by Kev the Slice, as the Red Bull driver is now trying to go down the inside. A little contact between Expedito and Big Turns and Queasy, as the three drivers wanted to keep that P9 position. As Big Turns now going down the inside. Will he make that overtake? Seems like it. Soft tires are really powerful there in turn 10. Although he's not going to be able to get that position as off right now. Apart from that, we are not looking at many big position changes. Maybe we see DJ Lawson lose about 7 positions at the beginning of that race in lap 1. So that's going to be an unfortunate one for the McLaren driver. Apart from that, we are looking at 6 positions gained for Big Turns. So he's really able to get those soft tires to work here tonight. And let me just double check with the top guys, as Laura Ritchie is really on the tail of Jay Dennis at the moment. Down the straight they go. DRS wide open already. As after lap 1, the guys will be able to use the DRS if they're within 1 second of the guy ahead of them. And Mini Turns and Kev the Slice currently having a heated battle, as Laura Ritchie breaks the braking boards there. At least we saw some sparks from the Ferrari driver trying to take a very tight line. Maybe wants to go down the inside of Jay Dennis, backside of it. As the top 6 is currently running away from the rest of the group. Waza trying to stick to the toe of Super Sean, as Kev the Size is having a heated battle with his very own teammate as well. Now, big turns, trying to make an aggressive move down the inside. A little snap from the Visa Ketchup Red Bull driver, but he makes it ahead of mini turns. Beautiful overtake by the Visa Ketchup Red Bull driver there. As the guys at the back of the grid are having a heated battle currently in the midfield here. We've got a Firefly, Ishi, Mohammed as well. Although Mohammed about 1.2 seconds behind the rest of the guys. Firefly now down the straight. DRS wide open. He's going to go down the inside. A late move from Expedito there, defending the inside line. And he makes a deep lunge. Also, Firefly going into the back of the Red Bull driver. That might possibly be a penalty for Firefly, as Ishi was trying to make his way around the Red Bull driver. Now going 3 wide. DRS wide open for Ishi. As Mohammed is not having an easy job. Ishi down the inside of Firefly. That is going to be an easy move for the Aston Martin driver. So that would go back on top, at the top with these guys. As we're looking at Nate Wani with an aggressive move into turn 8 there. Back into turn 9 they go, as the Mercedes driver Kaka having a good exit out of turn 9. Right the outside he goes. Maybe a switchback. No, he backs out of it. The top 5 is now ringing away. Waza losing a bit of time. Yellow flags in sector 2. That will be Ishi, who drops back all the way to P18. But no worries, because obviously we've got the race later on. Kaka now down the inside of Netwani. He's going to be able to make that overtake work with the DRS. Beautiful overtake by the French driver, as he got himself back up into the top 3 at the moment. He's also got the fast lap on top of that, so it's looking very great for Kaka right there. Queasy now making the overtake on Firefly into turn 1. A very difficult move to make, as obviously we've seen some overtakes there already, and they didn't end up very well. Here comes Firefly down the inside with the DRS, and he pushes the Red Bull driver wide. Look at that contact between the both of them. As now Mohammed makes his way around Queasy. We've seen some very interesting battles already from a Firefly here, having contact every now and then with other drivers. Waza drops back to P10 already. He's on the grass, the lawnmower off today, sliding all over the place. A little bit like Tokyo Drift, but this time around it's a Brazil Drift. Where is this actually? A Sao Paulo Drift. There we go. We need to make a a song for every track and then just play it. Like, you know, you guys know Tokyo Drift, the song. I think Mookie played it once on a live stream. It's what I heard Tutski talk about. It would be funny if we make a song like that for every track. Doesn't matter too much. Although Richie got himself back up into the lead. Made the overtake on Jay Dennis, as Kaka now pressuring the Britishman to his limits. DRS wide open for Jay Dennis. Is he going to make an overtake? Seems like it. Around the outside goes Jay Dennis. And turn 4 is not a very, very wide corner, so you have to really watch out for the tidiness down the inside there. Although Richie was down the inside, but he made his way past the corner without any contact with Jay Dennis. Oh, Jay Dennis having a snap there. Keeps it on track, but Olawa Richie's right up his ass. Look at that. Kaka around the outside of Olawa Richie. And this is going to make it out ahead. Seems like that will be Kaka with a pretty decent exit, although Olawa Richie squeezes the Mercedes driver onto the curb. A little snap from Kaka, and Olawa Richie is back up into P2. Kev the Slice once again stuck behind his teammate, and we've seen Kev the Slice being pretty fast last season in Season 2. This season he doesn't seem to have the pace that much. Currently P3 or P4 in the Drivers' Championship, but right now really struggling. Usually at the end of the season he tends to be a little slower, and that is what we can see here tonight. P8, P7 now making the overtake around the outside of his teammate, as I think Expedito wants to go for it again. Oh, yes, he does. Oh, yes, he does. Around the outside he goes, and a late move from mini turns on his very own teammate. There will be some discussions in the Kicksauber headquarters, as Kev the Slice is making it very difficult. Well, it's the other way around, actually. Mini turns makes it very difficult for Kev the Slice to run away a little bit. I think there needs to be some team plays here between the both of them, as Expedito is making it very interesting for the both of them. Now, a little contact between Expedito and Kev the Slice there, as Expedito drops back to P10. Firefly making the overtake on the Williams driver, and Kev the Slice with another aggressive move on mini turns, although mini turns lets him go through. No, it's the other way around. Kev the Slice lets him go through. And he lets a lot of drivers through. I think that must be because of that contact with Expedito to make sure he's not going to get a penalty at the end of the race. as Expedito lets him go through again. Yellow flags in Sector 2. That will be DJ Lawson, who drops back all the way to P17. Jay Dennis has left the session. This is not a good sign for the Alpine driver, and he might need an invite back. I'm pretty sure the admins can make sure that is going to be the case. I can make sure of that as well. Let me see if I got him added. That's going to be PlayStation, is it not? I don't think I've got him added. Well, Jay Dennis, if you're listening, buddy, make sure you have me added, and I'm going to be able to invite you. Going to open up the Discord and see who does it. Kaka now up into P2 as he's going to make an overtake on Natwani. As we didn't see that coming. Oh, a switchback from Kaka. What a move from the Mercedes driver. Makes his way up into the lead of the race. Natwani got sleeping there. Not defending the inside line as Kaka is absolutely masterclass here with his moves. As Laura Ritchie trying to make an aggressive move. A little contact between the both of them. Oh, a little snap as well from Natwani. But he makes it out alive. No, they do not. They go onto the grass with a little contact. Super Sean is now in P2. The Mercedes team is looking very strong here in Brazil. The sprint race, of course, not to misunderstand. P1 and P2 for the both of them. Obviously, Kaka filling in for Ziad, who wasn't able to join tonight. And we've got another yellow flag. That is Ishii in Sector 2. I think Firefly is going to make a move down the inside. Yes, indeed he is. As he will be up into P7. But there might be a penalty waiting for the Alpine driver, as his very own teammate has just joined the lobby. Lost a lot of positions underway. And he's definitely not... It's not looking great for the Alpine driver as somebody is coming into the pits. No, that will be Mohammed who crashed out, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, indeed he did. Sliding all over the place. Brass Monkeys is now going to make that overtake on the Red Bull driver. And Jay Dennis just needs to make sure he stays in the lobby next time around, because if he backs out again, his car is going to get disqualified, and I don't think he's going to be able to race during the race. So make sure you're sticking in the lobby, Dennis. Firefly making an overtake on his teammate. Not too difficult there as Kevin slides around the outside of his teammate. This is looking like a very heavy battle between the both of them, and it's just I think it's gonna be till the end of the race. Now, both of the drivers need to communicate with each other during the actual race, because this is not the way to go for mini turns and Kevin slides. As Laura Ritchie makes his way around Kaka, apparently so does Expedito on Jay Dennis. Now let's go on board with Kaka here, as he's getting pressured from behind by Nitwani. And in the meanwhile, Supershot is able to run away. Here comes Nitwani down the inside of Kaka, backs out of it again. Turn 4 is a very risky one if you're not alongside the driver you're trying to make an overtake on. And now Laura Ritchie seems to be draining a little bit of ERS, saving a little bit of ERS underway. Seems like a very heavy battle here for P4, although Super Sean already, well, for P1 obviously, but between the top 4, Super Sean already has that penalty, so he's not really in the battle. He's kind of in the battle. He's going to be able to win on track, but obviously he's going to get pushed back to P4, P5 maybe, which means, yeah, he's going to lose some valuable points for the Mercedes team. They are already quite far ahead in the Constructors' Championship, but yeah, I mean, you want to have some extra points for the team. Here comes Laura Ritchie with the DRS as Kaka makes his way around his teammate. Oh, and Nitwani with a very aggressive move. Oh, and he goes onto the curb and he loses the car. He drops back to P4 as he's going to have a very difficult climb behind him. Big turns. He's already gained 10 positions during this race, so currently in P5, came all the way from P15. Also, Firefly doing a pretty good job coming from P17, currently in P6. Might want to go on board back with Kaka. Both the Mercedes drivers trying to find their ways around Laura Ritchie, but I mean, Laura Ritchie has been strong all season long. He's currently in P2 in the Drivers' Championship. Or is that Jay Dennis? No, Jay Dennis is in P3. Brass Monkeys and also Redoubts having a battle with Jay Dennis, but I think Jay Dennis is not able to reconnect to the car. Is not going to be able to join back. Maybe he is going to join back during the race, but that's very unknown. Is she coming into the into the pits for soft tires. In the next lap, he manages to put a 1:09.7 on those exact same soft tires. He's currently in P18. He's not going to be winning any positions with that. But an extra point is always welcome when you're at the back of the grid. Let's focus on Redouts here as he found his way right behind Queasy and Waza. Waza, one of the faster, I mean, most developed guys, I would say, compared to last season. He wasn't really that fast last season or any other races that I've commentated on. Oh, Redouts! Oh, no, Redouts makes a move, and there's contact between both the Red Bull driver, Redouts, and Waza, and I think Redouts loses a front wing, kind of missed his braking point there. I mean, in anyone's career, sometimes you miss a braking point, and I think this time around it was the case for Redouts, where he kind of missed his braking point, went into the back of the Visa Cash Red Bull driver. Not sure if Waza actually has rear wing damage, but I'm pretty convinced that Redouts has a broken front wing. Maybe Queasy as well, because he dropped all the way to P12 with a 1.6 second gap, so it's not looking great for the Red Bull driver. Super Sean now not able to carry the speed he had from before. Internet connection has just ruined my chances of keeping P3 in the championship. That is a very unfortunate, Jay. Jay Dennis is in the chat, by the way, guys, for anyone who's not in the chat. Here comes Kaka around the outside with the DRS, not able to make that overtake. He's gonna wait for that second DRS straight here coming out of turn 3. When you're right behind somebody that is 99% secured off a position change, because obviously you're gonna have the DRS, and as you can see, there's just too many speed difference between both of the drivers. One driver who does run the DRS, the other one who doesn't run the DRS, and you can see Kaka made that move pretty easy there. Redouts with a 3-second time penalty as well. So you might want to go on board again with Redouts as he's right on the tail of Waza again. DRS wide open for Redouts, and this time around he's going to make that overtake as well. Seems like a pretty decent move there from Redouts, using that DRS to his full extension. And Jensen Dennis, I mean, I get you, buddy. I used to have a lot of internet issues back in the days, but I managed to fix it. If you want, you can DM me and I can explain you port forwarding, and it's going to make your Wi-Fi more stable. Remember when I used to drop out of every session? Well, I did port forwarding, and now I don't drop out of any sessions anymore. So it's a really good way of fixing your internet. Now Redouts up into P10 as apparently we are already finishing the sprint race here. Kaka coming across the line to grab that P1, below Richie in P2 and Super Sean in P3. A very surprising result from the Mercedes driver there. Natwani in P4, Big Turns in P5, Firefly in P6. Doesn't look like anyone else is going to make that overtake. Maybe Waza right now. Ooh, yeah, he makes up that position due to penalties. As Redouts is going to be in P11, Queasy in P12, DJ Lawson in P13. Good comeback race from the McLaren driver as well. As Jay Dennis is going to bump back up to P13 because of a penalty that Jay Lawson has. Blue Dark in P14, Mohammed in P16, Brass Monkeys in P17, and then we've got Ishii, who's going to be the last one to come across the line in P18. Only 2 positions dropped. I think he had a very unfortunate race there at the beginning of the race, but apart from that, we are seeing some big winners and some big losers tonight. Jay Dennis being the biggest loser so far with 11 positions lost, but maybe he can make those positions back up in the race. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to join again in that car. But apart from that, this race has already been quite fantastic. Driver of the day is Firefly, according to the game. Usually that is because he gained the most positions, but we might be seeing him getting a little penalty for that incident with the Red Bull driver earlier this race. These sprint race results are not going to be the exact points that the guys are going to be getting. Kaka currently in P1, Olua Richie in P2, and then we've got Super Sean in P3. Further, we've got Natwani, Big Turns, Firefly, Kev the Slice, Expedito, Mini Turns, and Waza in the top 10. Then we've got Redouts, Queasy, Jay Dennis, Blue Dark, DJ Lawson, Mohammed, Brass Monkeys, and Ishii to finish off the top 18. Jay Dennis currently in the chat says, I have Ethernet wired up right up to my PS5, so I don't get why it drops out for a second and connects straight back. I had the same issue, Dennis. I had the exact same issue. I'm connected to internet. I've got, the cable, right? Ethernet. I had 900 megabytes per second. It's crazy how much that is. Like, I don't think anyone of this lobby will have 900 megabytes per second. But like, I was dropping out of the session every time. And you know what the problem is? Does it also say for you that the internet cable was disconnected, Dennis? Because that's what I had. I wasn't Like it said this internet cable disconnected, but it wasn't disconnected because it was just plugged in my PlayStation and it didn't do anything. So I did the port forwarding and everything is fixed now. So I'm gonna be able to explain that to you as well, Dennis, if you hit me up later tonight. And we're currently waiting for the guys to choose the right setup, as obviously that is very important. We want to we want the drivers to have the best connection and the best setup and the best strategies. And apparently, we're going to be starting already. Now, I'm not sure who pressed ready already, but that's going to be a very big penalty for those guys. Who? DJ Lawson in the chat says, who pressed it again? Olaru Richie. Someone pressed it already. Mini turns, for fuck's sakes. Oh, man. Sometimes it's funny to read the chat as a commentator. Mini turns is not ready, apparently. We are going to be having a one... Wait! This has changed. Man, I've never done... Wait, oh, this is... Oh, okay. Hold up. Oh, are we going to have a restart? I think we are. Let me double check. 2 drivers have been disqualified already. Nope. No, apparently we're not going to have a restart. Oh, redives with a disqualification. Wait. No, I'm confused. If people... Wait. If somebody... Oh. Wait, I'm confused. If somebody invalidates their lap, it turns red, like redives did. But then why did Big Turns and Kaka retire from the session? I don't know. Apart from that, we have got Ishii currently in the lead of that one-shot qualifying. Although Richie is all the way at the back in P15. Ishii now, down the line he goes. Will it be pole time for the Aston Martin driver? And what a comeback that would be. Finishing the race in last, the 1:8.7 for the Aston Martin driver, as I think a lot of drivers just got disqualified from that short qualifying, one-shot qualifying. Now, I was a little confused because I never did a sprint race on the F124 game yet. So I was a bit confused that it was qualifying again. Now, we've got Ishii on pole time here tonight. Firefly in P2 and Waza in P3. Further, we've got Kev the Sly, Super Sean, Queasy, Expedito, Netwani, DJ Lawson, and Mohammed in the top 10. Then we've got Brass Monkeys, Blue Dark, Jay Dennis, and Mini Turns at the back of the grid. And the guys who didn't qualify were Big Turns, Kaka, Redites, and Olaru Richie. And not too much time between Ishii and Firefly, only 12 thousandths between the Aston Martin driver and the Alpine driver. So that is going to be a very heavy battle between the both of them during the whole race. Also, Waza and Kev the Slice having a very decent time there as well. Only 8 thousandths in between the both of them. Now, let's hope we're not going to be having any rain here in Brazil. And we do exactly have rain. This is... commentator scurs. Oh, man, this is horrible. Why do we have rain? I hate rain. I think we're going to have a lobby restart, are we not? Let me double check. Are we restarting? What's going on? I have no idea. All right, we're gonna have a restart, guys. So, yeah. I mean, not much I can say about that. It's gonna be a restart because many of the guys weren't ready. They didn't have the right setup. It's raining as well, so nobody wants to race in the rain at their last race, I imagine. I'm just waiting for an invite here. Not sure how long that is gonna take, but I'm gonna. Well, I'm gonna switch over to this. And you guys can enjoy whatever you're seeing on the screen. And I'm going to take a little break, so we'll be right back with you guys. Alrighty, guys, we are back at it again here tonight in Divine Eye Racing. It's taken very long, and I think I'm not gonna be in bed for another hour, so that's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is, I guess. We're gonna have another one-shot qualifying, and then we've got that 50% race, so hopefully everything is gonna be working quite fine right now. I'm just gonna double check the Discord chat to see if I've missed anything. Probably I didn't, but I heard there was a new AI coming that was going to um how do I say that? That's going to like analyze what everything has said and then it's gonna summarize what it has said. So that was I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully that is gonna be there anytime soon. But yeah, I mean we're chilling. Once again, everyone is putting the right setup on their cars and hopefully nobody is gonna press ready this time around, but I guess we gotta wait and see. Mohammed currently in the lobby there on the left hand side. Got Super Sean and Kaka there in the Mercedes box. Then we've got Ola Richie and Blue Dark in the Ferrari team. Mohammed teammate is Squeak or Squirk or whatever his name is. I haven't commentated on him very often yet. In the McLaren team, we have got, let me double check, DJ Lawson and who's the McLaren driver? Oh, it's the new guy, Nitwian, something like that. Then we've got Aston Martin, which is Ishi. And then we've got Visa Ketchup Red Bull being Firefly. No, that's not Firefly. It's Mini Turns and Big Turns. No, Mini Turns races for Kick Sauber. Then we've got Kev the Slice for Kick Sauber as well. Who is the second Visa Ketchup Red Bull driver? I think that must be... Okay, so it's Big Turns and it is... Oh, Waza. Right, it's Waza. And then the other guys are going to be shown on track later. We will be starting in about 15 seconds, so make sure you are ready to rumble, that you've got some drinks, some popcorn, or whatever you want to eat tonight, because it's going to be a spectacular race already. 5 more seconds to go here in this lobby. Then we're going to be hopping into the one-shot qualifying. There we go. We are on board with Mr. Ola Richie. Let's go on board with Ola Richie, as he's currently in P11, going into turn 1, hard braking zone. Seems like he's going a little bit too deep into that corner. Takes a lot of curb into turn 2, also into turn 3, which is definitely where you're going to be gaining some time. Ola Richie down the straight. The door is wide open for the Ferrari driver. Kaka is retired from the session already. Ola Richie now into turn 4. A little lockup for the Nigerian driver as he's heading into turn 5, into turn 6 and 7 coming right up. And then we've got turn 8 being that slow right-hander. Hard braking zone. A good overtaking opportunity for a lot of guys here. Doesn't take any curve down the inside. Still in P3 as Firefly and Ishi are currently in P1 and P2. Ola Richie is really pushing to get into that pole position here tonight for the race. Yo, sir, how are you doing, buddy? And it seems like Ola Richie is going to grab pole time here tonight. Firefly and Ishi dropped a couple of positions there. Oh, a little snap from Ola Richie. Took a lot of curve down the inside. Ishi drops back all the way to P6 after that turn 12. Well, what can you call it? Snap. Firefly seems to be taking the lead of this one-shot qualifying. Coming across the line, it's Firefly with a 1.8.3. Ola Richie also with a 1.8.3. And we've got Jay Dennis, if I'm not mistaken, in P3. And, yeah, very close qualifying. Once again, about 1/10 in between P1 and P3, which is Waza actually in P3, Jay Dennis in P4, Big Turns in P5, Ishi in P6, Kev the Slice in P7, and Natwani in P8, XPVito in P9, and then we've got Super Sean in P10, with about 8/10s behind Firefly there. Blue Dark and Mohammed Brass Monkeys have all finished the qualifying behind top 10. And then we've got the drivers who got disqualified tonight. Kaka, Queasy, Mini Turns, DJ Lawson, and Redites didn't manage to keep their cars on track, so that means they're not going to be eligible for a good qualifying time. They're going to be all the way at the back of the grid. Now make sure you're not readying up yet, because we're going to be, well, waiting for everyone to put on the right setup. Thank you very much, Sir Valiers. And we're going to be having rain again, apparently, which is very unfortunate. It's even going to take longer having rain here tonight, but I think it's going to be around 50, maybe 60 minutes. Oh, man. All right. By the way, thank you very much, Sir Lears. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's a bit unfortunate that it was the last race of the I mean, that this is the last race of the season. I would have commentated a couple more, but yeah. Oh, by the way, I've got a commentary tomorrow, but I think those guys finished the season. They did finish the season. Look at that. So I'm not going to be racing. I mean, I'm not going to be commentating, apparently. Thank you very much, Raymond. I have missed you as well, buddy. We're still waiting for that race to start. I think we're also going to have a formation lap as well. But I think we can guess what tires everyone is on already. What tires it will be for the rest of the race. With the amount of rain that's coming out of the sky at the moment. Everyone's still in the pit lane. Not sure why it takes so long. Because obviously there's not much tires to choose from. Waza is indeed in P3. That is lovely to see. I mean, he's been improving very much lately. I haven't seen him in the top 3 since forever. And this time around, he managed to get in the top 3. Still waiting. There we go. Formation lap at the moment. Everyone on wet tires is what I can imagine. Let me double check. Yes, indeed, everyone on the wet tires, sliding all over the place, trying to get their tires to heat up. Firefly, a bit of a surprise to me, being in P1 at the moment. A lot of Richie in P2, and then we've got Waza in P3. The guys who I didn't mention before during the pit lane, I mean, when we were in the pit lane, stuck in the pit lane, were the Haas drivers, being Brass Monkeys and Redoubts, and also the Williams driver, Expedito. Apart from that, we have mentioned everyone on the grid. As you can see there, Firefly weaving all over the place. Braking a little bit too heavy. A little Richie almost going into the back of the Alpine driver there. But he's trying to heat up his tires as much as possible, as I think that must be the case here in Brazil. It's really hard to warm up those wet tires, because there's not many dry spots which you can run. But usually, most of the times in an F1 race, when it's raining, you gotta keep those tires on a low temperature, so not 100% sure why Firefly is weaving all over the place, because obviously his wet tires shouldn't be as hot as they are right now. As you can see there, lower Richie in P2, not weaving at all, not warming up his tires, and he's possibly going to have a pretty decent start off the race there, possibly already making an overtake on Firefly in turn 1. The guys there in P15 going a little bit slower than expected. Trying to slow down the grid a little bit. Making Firefly wait on the grid. Which makes him cool down the tires. Which is not ideal, obviously. Oh, there goes the Kick Sauber driver. Watch out. Make sure you don't have any front wing damage. As I don't think you can get that after a formation lap. They should enable it. In my opinion, you should be able to get front wing damage during a formation lap. Blue Dart currently the only one who has been disqualified, although Mohamed adds himself to that list. Everyone is on the grid at the moment, and we are ready for Season 3, Round 12 of the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's 5 red lights here in Brazil, and away we go! Some guys already coming to the middle of the line there. Mercedes driver, that was Super Sean Kaka, moving up a couple of positions. And although Richie didn't seem to have a pretty decent start there, Waza trying to go around the outside. Has the inside line of Richie right now. He's making up a position. Look at that. Waza with a beautiful overtake. Although Richie really struggling. Look at that. Almost an incident with Jay Dennis. And I think they do get an incident. No, it's big turns. It goes into the wall. So does the Kick Sauber driver, Kev the Slice. As there is a virtual safety car already. Although Richie going really wide there. Definitely doesn't have the right setup on the car. Is she currently in P5? How many position changes did we see already? Not too many. DJ Lawson did come from P17 to P9. As Kaka moves up 4 positions as well. Currently on the tail of DJ Lawson. At the back of the grid, we are looking at Kev the Slice and Big Turns losing a lot of positions. Kev the Slice lost about 10. Big Turns lost about 13, so not a great start from the both of them. But I do think both of them had a little collision with somebody. Now, Firefly already has a gap of about 1 second, so he's going to be dropping out of that DRS. 1 second of Waza, which is great for the Alpine driver so far. Waza didn't really have a great start. Neither did Ola Richie, so that made Firefly be able to get away there. And especially the amount of battling that was going on during that first sector caused Firefly to even create a bigger gap. Now, apart from that, we have got Expedito gaining 3 positions. Mini Turns also gained 5 positions. And Redives coming for P18 to P16 at the moment. We've got green flags and go again. Down the straight we go. Waza having a lot of traffic behind him, and I think Ishii wants to go for it already. Backs out of it. Ola Richie with an aggressive move on Waza down the inside there. Maybe a little switchback from the Dutch driver would be beautiful, but fortunately doesn't carry the speed he needs into turn 2 and 3. Fends the inside line at the moment from Jay Dennis, who's right behind him. Down the straight they go. DRS will not be enabled for the guys here during the rain. As Waza is going to make an aggressive move. Was looking to go down the inside. Backs out of it again. Ola Richie with a pretty late break there. Making sure that Waza wasn't going to be able to make that overtake. Expedito now making the overtake on Ishii as well. It's Netwani, one of the newer guys here in Divine Eye Racing. Possibly looking to get a P5 here tonight. It also depends on the amount of penalties that the guys get. As usually around Brazil, we tend to see a couple of penalties for the guys. And especially during the rain, it's going to be harder to keep the car in the right spot, in the right lane. And we do tend to see a couple of guys go a little wider there in turn 4 in sector 1. But also here coming out of turn 11, we tend to see a couple of guys going wider there. Let's see if we see anyone go wider. Doesn't look like it. And DJ Lawson had a little snap there coming out of turn 11. Heading into turn 12, no DRS enabled as Kaka with a pretty decent exit there. Makes the overtake down the inside of DJ Lawson. Up into P9 goes the Mercedes driver. And will he be able to make that overtake on Super Sean? Doesn't seem like Super Sean is going to give that position for free. He needs those points for the driver championship, of course. As, he's going to go for the inside move anyway. Look at that. Side by side they go into turn 2, into turn 3. He's going to make it out ahead. Seems like that will be Kaka. Super Sean leaving enough space down the inside. Good teamwork from the both of them. As Kaka kind of crossed the pit exit there. I mean, the white lines of the pit exit. Don't think that would be too much of an issue as Mini Turns goes a little deeper there into turn 4. As I said before, if you carry too much speed throughout that corner, you're going to get a track warning. Servalier says agreed. You should be able to DNF in the formation lap or on the formation lap. I agree. If you're a little bit of an interesting driver during the formation lap, I think you should be able to get damage. Oh, look at that, Jay Dennis. Down the inside a little. Oh, and Ola Richie is going the other way. He's just spun, and I don't think he got the right setup, if I'm being honest. Drops back all the way to P11, and Jay Dennis should be fine with his P3 in the Drivers' Championship. Brass Monkey's also coming into the pits. He just came out. Kaka now with an overtake on Netwani. Down the inside goes the Frenchman, and he makes that overtake. No DRS enabled, so that is quite noticeable that he makes that overtake down the straight. Now his next target will be Ishii, who's not a very easy driver to pass, although Netwani is not done with Kaka yet. Down the straight they go. Another DRS straight, which they cannot use the DRS on, although Super Sean, look at that, down the inside into turn 4. Will he brake later than the McLaren driver? Seems like he does. Seems like he does. And he goes up into P6. Big turns on the intermediates. Seems like... Wait. Are the intermediates the best tire at the moment? Look at that. Big turns went onto the intermediates, and it's looking great for big turns. Is she going a little bit deeper there? As Kaka made the overtake on the Aston Martin driver. She seems to be sliding all over the place. And it's very interesting to see that Big Turn's already picked the fastest lap on the board. Is he even gaining time on the guys ahead of him? Seems like it. Look at how much time he gains on those intermediates. Will the other guys come into the pits as well to go onto the intermediate tires? I think we must see a couple of guys come into the pits, won't we? Waza with a move on Netwani there. As now both McLaren drivers will be right behind each other. Waza, who got out of that little sandwich straight away. And nobody seems to be coming into the pits. Nobody wants to take the risk of going onto the intermediate tires. I want to just check how fast Big Turns is compared to Firefly there. There's a 33 second gap, and he's gaining about a 10. He's gaining a lot of time. Look at that. Jay Dennis making the overtake on Firefly as we speak. Jay Dennis, who's now leading the race with still 31 more laps to go in this Brazilian Grand Prix. It's obviously not enjoyable that we're having rain, but I guess you cannot say anything about that, do anything about that, as the game decides it's going to be raining. But as a season ender, I mean, I would have appreciated if it was dry weather, but we had dry weather during the sprint race already, so we're all good. Itwani on the tail of Waza at the moment. 2 tenths between the both of them, and he goes for an aggressive move, sliding a bit coming through a turn 10. As Waza keeps the position, holds up strong, but unsure whether he's going to be able to keep that position. Nitwani was looking very fast during the sprint race as well. Now coming out of the last corner goes Waza, as he's losing a bit of the toe off Super Sean ahead of him. 1.6 seconds already. He's got a lot of straight line speed. Look at that. Waza gaining a lot of time. And also running away from Nitwani down the straight. 4 tenths. Nitwani locking up every now and then. That might be because he's running ABS off. And what's that going to do is it's going to be very annoying for the drivers here during the wet weather. Seems to be sliding all over the place. And Nitwani might not have the right setup either. With his very own teammate right behind him. Nitwani in P8, DJ Lawson in P9. And let's double check the tire strategies and the position changes as well. Big Turn is still the only driver on the intermediate tires, but he's gaining so much time on Queasy so far. It's hard to think that nobody is going to come into the pits this lap. As at the back of the grid, we're looking at a heavy battle between Redoubts, Queasy, and Mohammed. As Mohammed goes really wide there, and out of turn 5. Possibly led through his teammate, as Queasy wants to go down the inside. A little touchy there with the Haas driver, pushed him wide, as Redoubts is going to keep the position. Queasy almost with another tab there on the rear of the Haas driver. Oh, and a little slide. Yeah, I think these guys are... I don't know. Why is Big Turns gaining so much time on the intermediates? Is it looking like he's struggling? He isn't even struggling. Look at that. Just going to the intermediates, guys. I think nobody is listening, because this is just crazy pace from the Visa Cash-Up Red Bull driver. He's just gaining 4 or 5 seconds a lap. I mean, on the other hand, we've got Kev the Slice in P17 who's gaining time on Redoubts, on Big Turns, so... Or did Big Turns make that overtake on Kev the Slice? Big Turns with another fastest lap of 120.4, and it's hard to argue with those results. I mean, he's got so much pace. Kev the Slice being able to catch up to Big Turns, but on the other hand, not putting any fastest laps. So if you're gaining about 5 or 6 seconds a lap, I don't get why you won't come into the pits, because you've already got a dividend out of that after 4 laps. So I mean, an advantage is what I should say. Dividend is the wrong term. Is anyone out of the top 4 coming into the pits right now? We've got a big gap between Kaka and Ishii of about 4.5 seconds. Doesn't seem like any of these guys are coming into the pits. Yellow flag in sector 2. That is a Red Bull driver, Mohammed, who goes deep coming into turn 10. Another yellow flag, and this would be an ideal situation for the guys to come into the pits, obviously. Ishii sliding all over the place. That must mean his tires are overheating. And many of these guys' tires will be overheating. As you can see there, Ishii sliding all over the place, even losing more time to the guys ahead. So you might want to go on board with Big Turns again. 3.6 seconds behind Queasy. Both the Haas drivers came into the pits. Natwani making the overtake, and there's a lot of traffic here in sector 2. This Waza goes a little bit too deep, so does GJ Lawson, as he gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings here already. Only in lap 8, so we're about 25% halfway through this race. No, it's a little less than that. 25%, let's say 20% maybe. Not many overtakes here around Brazil, and I think we can expect that from a rainy weather situation. Redoubts, who crashes out in sector 2. How much time is Big Turns gaining on Queasy? Let's go on board with the Visa Ketchup Red Bull driver, because at the pace he's going at right now, he's definitely going to get into that top 10. Although Laura Ritchie is about 13 seconds ahead of Blue Dark, so it's a bit hard to argue with that gap, of course. Here comes Big Turns. Down the straight he goes. I think that must be an easy move for the Visa Ketchup Red Bull driver, especially having a good exit coming out of that last corner. Is he going to go around the outside? Gets pushed wide a little bit there. Not much room left, but Queasy leaves enough space. Going into turn 1. Oh, the Gig Sauber driver with an aggressive move. That was kept the slice, as Big Turn seems to be sliding a little bit there. Does that mean the intermediates are worse again? Oh no, the Red Bull driver goes onto the grass, and there goes Big Turns. Up into P12 goes the Visa Ketchup Red Bull drivers. We might want to go on board with Kaka again. We just got overtaken by Expedito. Jay Dennis currently running away, making up a gap of about 1.2 seconds already. Expedito also out of that 1 second zone. It seems like Kaka has some pretty straight line speed. Let's see if he's going to be able to use that down the straight. Whether he's going to use some ERS, doesn't seem like it. Look at that straight line speed from Expedito. Got out of the 5/10 of Kaka and gaining time on Firefly. So all Firefly has to do right now is keep the position and hopefully hold up Expedito for as long as possible. Expedito is also on those wet tires, so he's going to be good to go. Mohammed with a 3-second time penalty. Here comes Super Sean. Down the straight he goes. Trying to catch the slipstream of Ishii, as Ishii seems to be struggling as much as possible. I mean, as much as possible. That isn't even the right term, dude. He seems to be struggling really bad here in Brazil at the moment. I mean, he's also got a penalty, so that might be thanks to the amount of times that he slid all over the place. Redoubts with a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That will be a very heavy penalty. Mini Turn is losing the car. And also losing a bit of time to Waza there. About 1 second to the Visa Ketchup Red Bull driver. Blue Dark with a 3-second time penalty as well. Super Sean caught up to Ishii, as there is a 7-10 gap between the both of them, but he's going to get that position anyway due to the penalty that Ishii has at the moment. Let's go on board with Kaka. The Frenchman not able to get into that top 3 so far. And it seems like Jay Dennis is not really able to get away from his very own teammate either, so Firefly not really doing a good job keeping these guys far away from Jay Dennis. It seems like he's even bringing them to the British driver there, but 2 drivers coming into the pits, being Laura Ritchie and DJ Lawson. And that might be because Big Turns has already overtook them on the intermediate tires. Let's see what the Visa Ketchup Red Bull driver is going to do coming into sector 1, as obviously he has got a lot of pace. Got guys trying to find his way around Expedito, but as we said before, Expedito is a very hard driver to overtake, especially when he just chooses to go for the racing lines, and those are also the fastest lines, so it's even harder to overtake there, because during the rain you don't really want to overshoot, because you're going to end up into the wall or into the grass, and that is what we're seeing here from Kaka. He doesn't really want to go for a move down the inside anytime soon, because he knows that he might possibly outbrake himself and then end up in the rear of Expedito, for example. Expedito took a little bit too much curb there. Now Kaka is going to have an opportunity here switch back from the Frenchman as Expedito is going to force him a little bit deeper or tighter into that corner. Kaka now with a little more straight line speed. Down the inside goes the Frenchman as Expedito has to yield by that overtake from Kaka. So beautiful overtake from the Frenchman. They did lose a bit of time to Firefly, but I'm sure they're going to be able to get that position back up, or at least time. He's within 1 second already, trying to leave Expedito behind him for as long as possible. Let's go on board with mini turns here as he's on the tail of Waza. Will he be going down the inside? No, into turn 6. Very risky move by the Kicksauber driver. Backside of it again, which is probably the smarter thing to do there. Waza has also got a penalty as well, so let's just double check on the penalties here. 6 seconds for Kev the Slice, as it seems like Ishii has spun out. Into the grass he goes, and he's going to get overtaken by a couple of guys there. He's a Red Bull driver, also mini turns. As Blue Dart gets another 3-second time penalty. He's got 16 seconds already in total. Currently in P15. Those 16 seconds will possibly make him drop to P16. Mini turns doesn't have a penalty, so he shouldn't worry too much about P7 at all. But I mean, you never know how many warnings somebody has, so it could be that he already has 2 warnings and 1 more warning. There we go. 3-second time penalty for mini turns. As I said, it goes onto the gravel there. Big turns with another fastest lap of 119.7, and he's gained about 5 seconds in the last 2 laps. So the intermediates are most likely the better tire here tonight. But is that pace difference going to do something about the position you're in? Because obviously, if you come into the pits, you're going to be losing about 20-25 seconds. And I don't think any of the guys in the top 4 can afford that. Especially Expedito, Firefly, and Jay Dennis, because Super Sean is just going to stay out. He's going to hold up all of those guys for Kaka. As Brass Monkeys retired from the session in the pit lane. Very unfortunate to see, as he's possibly going to play engineer for his very own son. If I'm not mistaken, Brass Monkeys is Redoubt's father, but it could be the other way around as well. I'm quite confused about that every now and then. Laura Ritchie has decided to go onto the intermediates as well, as it seems like he has way more grip on those tires. They're trying to chase down the Red Bull at the moment here around Brazil. And he's got to patiently wait, because obviously these wet tires are still decent enough to keep the position, or at least battle with Laura Ritchie, who's on intermediates. As the Red Bull driver chooses to go on the grass, and a little tap there from Laura Ritchie. Missed his braking point. Down the straight they go. Laura Ritchie possibly with an overtaking opportunity down the straight. No DRS will be enabled, but the dry lines have already been formed, so he can just go down the inside there. No, he's not close enough. 2/10 for Laura Ritchie into turn 1. Let's go on board with Expedito and Kaka again, as all 3 of those, and it will be Firefly defending the inside line. Well, the outside line from Kaka there. A lot of straight line speed from Kaka, so we might be seeing him make that overtake using the slipstream of Firefly. And yes, indeed, we will be using a lot of ERS. And that will be overtake done by the Frenchman. Down the inside he goes, and will he be keeping that position? Because Firefly will be able to brake a little bit later than the Frenchman, but seems like Kaka is able to keep that position on the wet tire compound. A lot of these guys currently still running the wet tires, except for the guys who already came into the pits or big turns. We started on those intermediates. Ishii now coming into the pits. Goes from a 13-lap-old wet tires possibly to the intermediates. As big turns now makes up another position. 7.6 seconds to mini turns. As I think mini turns is giving it a shot, making an overtake on Waza. Will he be going down the inside? Seems like he's going to back out of that again. Not enough straight line speed. Possibly didn't use enough ERS to make that overtake. Let's go on board with Expedito again as the Williams driver. I mean, it's a little interesting race by the Williams driver so far. Gained 5 positions in total, but not really able to get past Firefly there. As Kaka is able to make up a decent gap to the both of them. About 1.2 seconds so far. As he's going to try and get that race win here tonight, coming all the way from P13, P14. Mini turns now. Oh, and it's Waza who crashed out. I mean, he's not out of the race yet. As Expedito and Firefly now going side by side into turn 1. Firefly still sticking it down the inside, but Expedito keeps the position. Then the inside into turn 3, and that will be position, gained for Expedito. Move done is what I wanted to say. I was going to say position done, but like, that doesn't even make sense. These two are going to be having a very busy race so far as the McLaren driver crashed out. That was DJ Lawson. Waza and Kev Deslice now both coming into the pits. Both drivers were on very old wet tires, but as you can see, these wet tires don't last that long here in this Brazilian Grand Prix. Waza choosing another set of wet tires. Kev decides to go onto the intermediates. As Expedito takes a lot of curve there, almost flirts around with the track limits, but didn't get a penalty off that, which means he might have another couple of track limits in the back. Track limit warnings in the back, which he can use during his battle with Firefly here. Kaka manages to get back to Jay Dennis, as the DRS will not be enabled yet. Look at how much rain there is here around the Brazilian Grand Prix. Kaka now with the slipstream. I don't think it will be enough though. He's also saving the ERS, so he's not looking to make a move there down the straight. Possibly will make that overtake coming out of turn 14. A little snap from Jay Dennis. Seems to be struggling on the wet tires. Mini turns with a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That will be the wet tire runner. Jay Dennis struggling again on the wet tires. Nitwani making the overtake on Super Sean, as it is going to be a switchback from Super Sean back up into P5. Beautiful overtake there by the British driver. I don't think he's British. I think he's from either Qatar or Malta. Oh, and he goes wide there during his battle with Natwani. Loses the position. Does not lose his dignity yet. Needs to make sure to get that overtake done on Natwani again. And I'm going to be really surprised to not see Kaka come into the pits. He's not going to come into the pits. Neither is Jay Dennis. This is really interesting. And I'm really wondering whether those guys are going to stay on the wet tires and come into the pits later on to go into another set of wet tires. But look at how much time Big Turns is gaining currently on the tail of Super Sean. $15 laps on the intermediates already, and they're looking as fresh as a fresh sheet of toilet paper. Here he comes down the inside. Will he go for it already? Seems like he's going to back out of it. We'll have the upper hand coming out of turn 3, obviously with the ERS if he has any saved. Oh yeah, look at how much time he gained there coming through that section. Down the straight he goes. Will he be using ERS? Seems like he does. He has a lot of ERS saved. Down the inside he goes. Brakes a little later, but also Super Sean not getting caught off guard. Kev Deslice with the fastest lap of 119.7 on the intermediates as well. As Big Turns now makes that overtake on Super Sean. Beautiful overtake by Big Turns up into P6. And I think that intermediate strategy did do him good. He's got to come into the pits one more time though this race. Otherwise he's not going to make it out alive. A lot of drivers getting 3-second time penalties, including mini turns. And if I'm not mistaken, Blue Dark. Jay Dennis is coming into the pits. That will be a crucial point in this race. And we're also going to be able to see what tire he's going on. Will it be wet tires? Will it be intermediates? It will be the intermediates, if I'm not mistaken. It will indeed be the intermediates. So Jay Dennis decides to go into the intermediate tires. He saw that Kev Deslice put some fastest laps on those inters. And manages to choose those inters as well. Here comes Firefly on the tail of Expedito. Big Turns with another 10-second time penalty. It's not looking great for Big Turns there. It's currently in P6. Came into the pits but gets a 10-second time penalty. 17-lap-old intermediates. As Super Sean comes into the pits as well to go into the intermediates. Jay Dennis only about 20 seconds behind Kaka. And how much time is he going to gain on Firefly. Seems like it's not too much, but obviously he's not in the faster, in the slower part. Oh, Wazai's left the session. I think he retired in the pit lane. And I'm kind of hoping that somebody is going to crash into the wall because I gotta pee really bad. No, I gotta pee right now. My apologies, guys. It's just because the thingy took a bit long earlier on, so my apologies. I'm just going to be back in about a minute. Alrighty, we're back at it again, guys. My apologies for that little break, as it seems like we've got a virtual safety car as we speak. 15 more laps to go here in this Grand Prix, with Jay Dennis just getting a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision with Queasy. What happened there with the British driver? That will definitely do him wrong. Not sure if he's going to be able to get that removed. He already came into the pits, so he shouldn't come into the pits again to switch on to another set of intermediate tires. Kaka does have to come into the pits, and he's going to be very lucky with that pit entry, obviously because of the virtual safety car, which is going to gain him about 3 or 4 seconds. But as you can see, Jay Dennis already making up about 10 seconds on Expedito there, so that extra lap on the intermediates definitely do him good. Also, Firefly lost about 9 seconds on Expedito. Not sure if anything happened between those two, which made them lose a lot of time. What is Queasy doing? 3-second time? What is Queasy doing? I have no idea. Super Sean with a drive-through penalty for speeding under VSC. Queasy is all the way in P13, but it seemed like he was trying to take out Jay Dennis for some reason. Mini turns, crashed out. What happened there with the Kicksauber driver? That will be another virtual safety car. Let's see where he crashed out. It's in the wall there. Missed his braking point, most likely. As Kaka is going to be ahead of Jay Dennis, so that is not good for the Alpine driver, especially with that 10-second time penalty on top of it. Redides for the 10-second time penalty. What is Jay Dennis and Queasy doing? What are they doing? Were they over the Delta? I don't know. Oh, mini turns is the session? Or did I leave the session? That could be the case as well. No. Doesn't seem like it. We're still racing. Virtual safety car. About 14 more laps to go. And Big Turns really gained a lot of positions with his intermediate strategy. He gained a lot of time on everyone, and it just surprises me that nobody else went onto the intermediate tires when big turns was putting in those fastest laps. So the virtual safety car is still there. Apparently, Queasy is not behind Jay Dennis yet. So Jay Dennis has a little bit of breathing room. He's seeing Kaka in the distance there. As there's another virtual safety car. No, the virtual safety car is gone, but DJ Lawson gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. So you might want to analyze the position changes again from these guys. 13 positions gained. Kaka currently leading the pack to victory, as Jay Dennis gained about 2 positions. Expedito also with a good comeback race, I would say, after very poor qualifying, at least for his caliber. And then we've got Firefly losing 3 positions, Natwani gaining 3, and Big Turns losing 1. DJ Lawson currently in P9, gained about 8 positions, but he got that drive-through penalty, which he has to serve, so he's gonna lose another couple of positions, if I'm not mistaken. 1 to the Mercedes, 1 to the Ferrari, which is Super Sean and Olawa Richie. Let's go on board with Super Sean, as he's gonna make that overtake on the McLaren driver. But what will Olawa Richie be doing? Will he be ahead of DJ Lawson? Seems like he will be. DJ Lawson sleeping, sliding all over the place. As the only drivers who are within 1 second of each other are Kev Deslize and Big Turns. Both drivers having a penalty as we speak. Let's have a quick look what type of penalties they got. Redouts for the 3-second time penalty, as Kev Deslize has a 6 second in total. And Big Turns has about 10 seconds in total, which is not ideal for the Red Bull Visa Ketchup driver, but that will be because of speeding in the pit lane, of course. You might be able to get that removed. I am not convinced, but you never know. 2 drivers having a drive-through penalty, being Ishi, and Super Sean. Queasy Blue Dark having the most penalties out there, 16 in total. And also Jay Dennis having a 10-second time penalty for a collision with Queasy earlier this race. Expedito not really gaining time on Jay Dennis there, 14 seconds behind the Alpine driver. As Olawa Richie has caught up to Super Sean right now, 7/10s in between the both of them, as Blue Dark is 3 seconds, well, adds 3 seconds to his time, because obviously he gets another driver track warning. Olawa Richie really attacking those corners, attacking the curbs, trying to get back to that Mercedes driver. Down the straight he goes. Will it be an opportunity for Olawa Richie? I think he must be, because obviously he's not doing a great job currently in P10. Had a little bit of an unlucky race at the beginning of the race, dropped back many positions. And also was parallel with the track, so that also made him lose a couple of positions, as Olawa Richie now 5/10s behind the Mercedes driver. Super Sean has got to come into the pits anytime soon anyway. And apart from that, nobody else is within 1 second of each other. Maybe Mohammed on Blue Dark. But let's first analyze whether Super Sean is going to come into the pits already, or whether he's going to come in next lap. The virtual safety car came in the pits about 2 laps ago, so I think Super Sean has got to come into the pits. Ishi with another 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as that will be added on top of his 9 seconds, as that will be a total of 19 seconds already. As Super Sean is coming into the pits, so we're going to focus on Mohammed and Blue Dark there. Oh, and Mohammed goes into the wall, loses a front wing. As he's not going to get overtaken by Redoubts. Redoubts, who's 50 seconds behind. Let's go on board with Kev Deslize here, as he's caught up to Big Turns. He's also got an annoying Mercedes driver behind him, or is that not a Mercedes? No, it's a Red Bull driver. That might be Mohammed, who crashed out earlier. The guy's not able to benefit from the DRS, because the DRS is not enabled here. Obviously, because it's raining and you don't want to carry too much speed down the straights, so that you're going to slide all over the place. As you can see there, Kev Deslize losing control over his car, takes it back, as Mohammed is going to go through the Kick-Sauber driver, gaining well, a bit of time, obviously, if he has to stay behind the Kick-Sauber driver, which is not ideal, but I don't think you're able to ghost through the Kick-Sauber driver, and he's going to let him go through. He is pressuring the Kick-Sauber driver, though, as I think Kev Deslize is struggling a little bit here in Brazil. Olawa Richie caught up to Ishi. He's going to gain that position anyway because of the 19 seconds. I think Olaru Richie only needs to get about 17 seconds and he's going to get that position for free. Firefly seems to be closing in on Expedito as well with 10 more laps to go here in this Brazilian Grand Prix. Kaka now with the fastest lap, but 117.1. He seems to be very safe and very, well, feeling very well on those intermediates. We're going to be having a very close battle between Firefly and Expedito right now. As he's within 1 second of the Williams driver, drops out of that 1 second again down the straight, gains it again down the straight. I think it's just a matter of sectors where the guys are going to be having a little bit of a more powerful setup. Seems like Firefly is a little bit faster there in Sector 1. As you can see, gained about 2/10 coming into Sector 1. And now he's going to be within that slipstream of Expedito. Now it's still a guess whether he's going to make that overtake this lap or next lap. We've got a McLaren driver sliding all over the place in Sector 2. That might have been DJ Lawson. Oh, and Blue Dark now also gets overtaken by Mohammed. Did he have an incident? Firefly trying to catch up. It's not looking great for Firefly. Jesus. Firefly, of course. As Kaka now puts the first 116 on the board. It will be a 116.863 for the Mercedes driver. And this indicates why he's a Division 1 driver and not a Division 2 driver. So I think his points are not going to count for the Drivers' Championship. Neither is it going to count for... I mean... I don't know. Is it going to count for the standings? I mean, the results of the race? Or is he just going to drop back? I don't think so. I think he's going to get the full 30 points, if I'm not mistaken. Added to the Constructors' Championship, which is going to secure Mercedes with their Constructors' Championship, of course. And then we've got Olaru Richie all the way in P9. He had one job tonight, and I think he blew it a little bit. Let me just double check with the Constructors, because... it was a very close battle between the Constructors, but it was for P3 and P4. Now, I'm pretty sure that P3 was Alpine and that they managed to secure P3. Now, I'm not sure whether Ferrari drops back to P3 because of a poor result by Olaru Richie and Blue Dart tonight. Oh, no, never mind. Ferrari was more than about 55 points ahead, so they're gonna be good to go. Mercedes is still going to be in P1, and I'm pretty sure they're going to keep P1. Racing Bulls in P3. Where is Alpine? Alpine is in P5. How did they do so bad? Oh, Jay Dennis possibly didn't have a good teammate these last couple of races. Now Firefly is a better teammate, obviously. As Kevin Slice is on the tail of big turns. And it's a battle between the Racing Bulls and Sauber. Let me just double check. Seems like the Racing Bulls are doing a pretty decent job, but so are the Saubers, as they're currently battling for P6 there. Oh, there goes Kevin Slice with an aggressive move into turn 1. Backs out of it again into turn 2. As there will be big turns ahead again with 8 more laps to go. It's the Williams driver there. No, it's the Red Bull driver. That might have been Mohammed. Slowing down to let these guys pass with Firefly looking to get his first podium in Divine Eye Racing. And Jay Dennis, who still is about 7 seconds shy of Expedito and Firefly, so he should be good to go with the amount of battles that's going on at the moment here between these two. Expedito and Firefly battling for that P3 podium position. What is Kaka doing? Kaka is coming into the pits again. That's very interesting. I mean, no. Is it interesting? I don't know. He goes onto the intermediate tires. He knows that Jay Dennis has a 10-second time penalty anyway, and the intermediates, I mean, the fresher intermediates are way faster. Might want to go for another fastest lap. Firefly with a move around the outside. Expedito defends the inside line, but Firefly coming out of turn 2 has a better exit, possibly. No, it's Expedito keeping it ahead of Firefly, as the Red Bull driver is going to make it annoying again for Expedito and Firefly there. Into turn 4 they go. Might want to go on board with Laura Ritchie, as it seems like he made that overtake on the driver he was trying to make an overtake on. Was that Ishii? I can remember quite well. As Big Turns and Kev Desai still battling for that P6. As things are looking like right now, it will go to Kev Desai because of the amount of penalties that both drivers have. Big Turns having 10 seconds. Kev Desai obviously having less with 6. Now, I'm still wondering why Kaka came into the pits. Because if he's not going to gain more than a second a lap, and Jay Dennis is going to be able to get those 10 seconds removed because of that incident with Queasy, I would say that... Oh, Jay Dennis gets a 3-second time penalty. Now, Kaka only needs to gain about 4 more seconds to secure a race win. Just gonna take a quick sip of water because my throat is not used to commentating that long after not commentating for 2 weeks. It seems like a very boring race at the back of the grid. DJ Lawson about 17 seconds behind Shipper Sean. Then we've got Mohammed 20 seconds behind Queasy. And also Redoubts all the way at the back of the grid. 42 seconds behind Blue Dark. Seems like Firefly and Expedito are still having a heated battle. And I think that will last until the end of the race. With still 5 more laps to go. Yellow flags. That's Netwani. Is that Netwani? It's not Netwani. It's DJ Lawson. It's the other McLaren driver who's not able to keep his car clean on track today. Here comes Kev Desai, and this will possibly be a good opportunity for the Kick Sauber driver. Takes the slipstream. Does he have enough ERS safe? Is gonna drain everything. Look at that. Kev Desai is draining a lot of energy down the straight there. But that energy regenerates very easily here during the wet tire conditions, or at least the intermediate tire conditions. Because the guys will press the brakes way more than during a dry race, obviously. They're going to have to brake a little bit earlier, and they're not going to be able to carry that much speed throughout the corners, so... Oh, and he clips the curb, and he loses the car. And now that will be P6 running away. Maybe if he manages to get back into the 4 seconds of Big Turns, he might be able to get that P6 anyway. Then we're really going to see the pace difference between the both of them. Obviously, Big Turns on older tires. So we're currently on board with Firefly. Kaka with the fastest lap. We're heading into lap 33 out of the 36. Jay Dennis already came across the line, so that is why it says 33 on the top of your screen. Firefly 310s, it's not going to be enough to make a move down the straight. Here comes Firefly, maybe with the slipstream and the ERS and the... I mean, he's not going to be able to use the ERS, so doesn't have a lot of speed to carry through. Oh, a little snap from Firefly. I feel like he outbrakes himself every now and then, and we saw that earlier as well with that little outbraking when he went into the back of the Red Bull driver. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was during the sprint race. Kaka caught up to Jay Dennis already. Did Jay Dennis make a mistake? I think he must have. Or are those intermediates just done for? Here comes Kaka, slipstream. ERS, he might be able to use a lot of ERS to grab another fastest lap. Kaka down the inside. Jay Dennis is not going to back out. Here comes Kaka down the inside. And he's going to back out of it. Interesting. The other Mercedes driver, Super Sean, has been lapped already. And that's mainly because of the amount of pace that these two are having at the moment. I mean, Jay Dennis and Kaka, possibly one of the... I mean, two of the fastest drivers here in Divine iRacing. I would really love to see Jay Dennis move up to a Division 1, obviously. because he's got the pace and he's able to get a decent result in Division 1. As we're looking at Expedito with a heated battle with Firefly there. A little contact, a little bit of wheel tapping between the both of them as Expedito pushes Firefly onto the grass. And that is something we've seen very often already today. Not very clean racing from Expedito there as Firefly gets a 3-second time penalty. But as I said, I would love to see Jay Dennis go up into Division 1. Now the problem with that is I'm never going to be streaming Division 1, so that means that I'm never going to be able to see my beloved Jay Dennis race anymore. Unless I watch the races, of course, but I would love to commentate on those races myself if I had the chance. Now, here comes Kaka, around the outside he goes. Takes the dry line, which is going to give him a little more traction coming into the corners. But it's Jay Dennis who outbrakes the Mercedes driver. Beautifully done there by Jay Dennis. He's currently battling for his honor, obviously, with the amount of battles that's going on. He cannot lose more than 6 seconds. Because then he's going to end up behind Expedito. Kaka now down the inside. Mix up that position on Jay Dennis as Expedito is gaining a bit of time on the Alpine driver, but not enough to get back into the top 2. So as things are looking like right now, it will be Kaka in P1, Jay Dennis in P2, and Expedito in P3. Obviously with that 3-second time penalty off Firefly. But we might be looking at some post-race penalties for these two, Expedito and Firefly. So both of the drivers have caused some issues already. Queasy now with a 3-second time penalty. Also Firefly going a little bit deeper into that corner. Twani on the tail of Big Turns as well. And it's looking like he's going to grab that P5 after all. Now let us have a look at the position changes. Kaka from P14 to P1. Jay Dennis gaining 2 positions as well. And so does Expedito, gain 6 positions. Firefly qualified in P1, currently in P4. Can't really blame him. The guys ahead of him are really, really fast. Big Turns still in the same position. Obviously, he's going to lose a position due to that penalty. He's going to drop back either to P6 or P7. Depends on whether Kev the Slice is going to get back into that top... into that... within that 6-second time range. As things are looking like right now, it's looking like he's going to be able to do that. He's already winning in 4 seconds. Look at that. Kev the Slice pushing as much as possible, so that means that Big Turns is going to finish in P7. Now, apart from that, we are not looking at any interesting battles to finish off the season. And I would like everyone... Well, I mean, I would like to thank everyone for watching Divine Eye races for these last couple of seasons already, the last couple of races. I hope I entertained you guys as much as possible. Obviously, this race is a little bit meh because I didn't do much commentary over the last 2 weeks. I actually did none. My first commentary race was yesterday, so... But yeah, apart from that, I mean, I really enjoyed being the commentator here in Divine Eye Racing. As we're going to see Kaka come across the line to grab the fastest lap of 1:15.5, but also grab the race win. Congratulations to Kaka for winning the last race of the season here in Division 2. Obviously, he's a Division 1 driver, so I'm not sure whether that's going to count or not. But Kaka, congratulations. You had a lot of pace here tonight. Expedito coming across the line. It will be a good for a P3. We've got Firefly in P4. Not Twani in P5. A driver I haven't commentated on yet, so congratulations to you, a McLaren driver. Big Turns is going to drop back to P7. No, he's not going to go drop back to P7. Kev the Slice had a little snap. Kev the Slice is going to be in P7 after all, with Laura Ritchie in P8. And apart from that, everyone has come across the finish already. So guys, as I said before, I want to thank everyone as much as possible for watching the live streams, supporting me in the live streams, and also apart from the live streams, you know, just in chat saying thank you very much, Thomas. That is really appreciated if somebody has ever done that. I think somebody has someday, sometime, I don't know. But yeah, this was the last race of the season. I'm not 100% sure when the other season is going to start, season 4, whether it's going to be with 1 division, 2 division, 3 divisions. I would assume it's going to be with 2 divisions again, obviously because we had a full grid every time we had a race. So that is lovely to see. Roy Hendrickson in the chat says, whoa, that was hard to keep in the white lines. Yes, indeed it was. Now let's have a look with the final results of the final race in Division 2, Season 3. Kaka takes the race win, Jay Dennis in P2 and Expedito in P3. Further, we've got Firefly, Nitwani, Big Turns, Kev the Slice, Laura Ritchie, Super Sean, and DJ Lawson. And then we've got Ishi, Queasy, Mohammed, Blue Dark, Redoubts, Mini Turn, Waza, and Brass Monkeys. The last 3 drivers have DNF'd from this race, which is quite unfortunate, but it is what it is. And guys, I would like to thank you very much. As I usually do at the end of a season, I would like to say a special thanks to, of course, Mr. Divine Eye and Tutski Beard, who have offered me the opportunity to commentate on these races. Hopefully I did not disappoint any of you. Neither did I want to disappoint any of the drivers, but obviously the other guys are supporting me a little more with giving me the opportunity. Now, for the rest of the guys, I mean, obviously we saw some incidents, we saw some interesting battles, we saw a lot of rain, tire strategies, crashes into the wall, but that is what makes a season so beautiful. So hopefully you guys are going to remember that going into Season 4. Be friendly towards each other. Don't swear in chats, because I know that Tusky doesn't like that too much. But guys, thank you very much for watching the live stream. And hopefully we're going to be back for Season 4. This was Phoebe Thomas as your commentator, guys. Peace out.